You are Locked On Texas Tech, your daily podcast on the Texas Tech Red Raiders. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Great to be with you again on Locked On Texas Tech on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, always free and available on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts. And thanks as always for making us your first listen. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. And right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet hits. So visit FanDuel.com today to get started with the only Chris Level. I'm Casey Cowan. Chris, great to be back with you once again. And on today's episode, we're going to get into some pieces present and some pieces departed for the Red Raider football program. And this is based in an interesting conversation that you were having recently, getting ready for the fall of 2025 and talking about essentially the way I hear you saying it, winning pieces whenever it comes to the type of players you have in this spot or that spot and the roles that they fulfill. Whether we were more specifically kind of talking about, say, winning time on the field, red zone, final 20 yards, tough situations, short yardage, third down, those type of situations. But I feel like we can extrapolate that really to almost all four quarters and all situations. So we'll talk about those pieces, what they look like, and in part why it's so interesting for Texas Tech, because it really seems like you've had a change in your cast of characters with these pieces. So we're going to talk about also what that means for the identity of the Red Raiders, leaving 24 and looking ahead to 2025. But can you set the table to kick it off with what I'm talking about here and how these players were described and sort of the role that they would fulfill in order to give their team the best chance to be successful in these situations? Tell us what this looks like.
Yeah, we've had conversations over the last several weeks and months about offensive identity, bread and butter. What are you going to do when you really need it? Who you hand it to, who you throwing it to, all those different things. But I guess, and we've also come up with different reasons. Okay, man, if this doesn't work this year, this would be kind of the reason. We've talked kicking game. We've talked, okay, you're trying to, new schemes, trying to mesh it all together. Maybe it's just unrealistic to take all these pieces and mesh them together and all that stuff. So we've come up with some different reasons. Here is one, though, that I think you were exceptional at last year. And it was phrased to me, usually really good teams have this. And I don't know if you're going to but tell me I'm wrong kind of deal. So let me just read you the statement. It was from a coach out there that I know, and he spent some time on the Tech staff years and years ago. And he kind of was asking about this, and I was like, it's a great point. And so let me just read you the statement that was offered up, and then we'll get into last year versus this year and what that looks like, because this is one of those, heck, man, I might even say this is one of the bigger deals on a potential. If it doesn't go well, this would be why you could point to something like this. Okay. So generally, you want 2 out of 3 heads in your backfield to produce in short yardage and in the red zone. A dual threat quarterback, a top-notch short yardage running back, and a physical tight end / fullback. If you have 2 out of the 3, you should be good to go. I'm not sure that Texas Tech has even one of those components right now. To which I'm like, how dare you say that? But upon further review, Taj Brooks, would we say he was an elite short yardage running back?
I would say that.
I would. Did you have a big physical tight end / fullback last year?
Yeah.
And Jalen Conyers, I would say that you did. I would say that, yeah, he was running Wildcat. He's doing a lot of different things and producing. And I think that you went to that quite a bit. If you think about how many games and deciding to go for it on 4th down, winning the Iowa State game, trying to move the chains, trying to keep the ball in your hands so you don't give it to the opposition, whatever, being able to produce in short yardage situations and specifically in the red zone, because Do you have a dual threat quarterback this year? And we can get into that conversation if we want, but
I wouldn't even think it'd be a conversation. I thought it'd be a simple no, case closed. Is there a conversation to have about that?
Like can Barron run? Can Will Hammond run? Yes, absolutely. Do you want them running like QB power? Are they built like Tyler Shuck was? No.
Nor are they elusive. I don't find them to be.
Yeah,
maybe Hammond's
a
little faster, but I don't know.
He's got a little juice, and I think Barron's added a little weight and knows that he may be asked to do a bit more of this kind of thing. But I wouldn't say that the way that they are phrasing this, a true dual threat quarterback in the sense of they're going to get me 2 to 3 yards if I need it. It's more of, I think you've got some guys that can scramble around, extend plays, that can tuck it and go. Also, maybe keep it instead of give it around the 5 to 6 yard line, and maybe sneak it in a bit there, but not majoring in it. And so I think that I question the QB thing, and maybe we're wrong. But I mean that's the way I would look at it right now. So I don't know.
You kind of had that with remind me that was it Cameron Brown? You were trying to run in this sort of,
which is why
sort of filling that gap because you didn't.
And I think that he was simply brought in because it's like we need somebody that can replace Donovan Smith, and so Cam Brown was kind of, and then it just never really worked. But it didn't have to work because you had I remember thinking at this time last year, I was really excited about Cam Brown. What is it going to open up? What is it going to look like? What can you do with this player? And then it never really happened. He got tweaked or injured. There were some different things. But Jalen Conyers assumed that role. Jalen Conyers totally assumed that role. So you still got all that creativity, and you got the production, and you got the snaps, and you got the different formations and all that because it was your tight end that was doing all that. Okay, so do you have let's just stay on so we've talked about quarterback, and maybe this is like, I mean, he's still kind of coming off of a knee injury, but I don't view Mitch Griffiths as different than Will or Barron, and maybe we're underselling Will and Barron a bit, but again, I think it's for purposes of grinding out the tough yards around the goal line and really getting in harm's way and all those things. And I just don't know if I quite see that. Not that they're not athletic or can't run. And Lloyd Jones is a bigger guy. He's more of a runner, but he's kind of coming off of a knee injury. Okay, so move to running back.
Can I ask you about that really quickly? Do you see, just based on like targets or even Jones, like the future of that position and the way they're recruiting that position? Are they trying to look for something more prototypically dual threat than what they inherited or what might be there now?
No, I think it's player specific. I think some guys are a bit better at this and that. I think the one thing you would say is you just want athletic guys that can extend plays. That's a minimum. I don't know if you're ever going to like major, like Mac Leftwich isn't, much like Zach Kelly. He's not going to major in QB run game. It's always a component of college football in 2025. But I think that you've got too many bells and whistles at other places than to say, yeah, we're gonna set up shop and run QB power. We're gonna run the option. I mean, you're not doing any of those things. And so I think it's just more of an extend the play, make plays on the run, be accurate, and keep it and run it on occasion. But yeah, we're gonna throw it. So yeah, you're not changing with what you have now, with what you're bringing in Cannon and kind of who you're looking at in 27. Yeah. All that's large in part the same.
So I want to get to the biggest obvious vacant shoes, that being your program's all-time leading rusher and what he represented in just a moment. But back to the tight ends for a sec, Chris, because we mentioned Conyers. We didn't mention another name we probably should in Mason Tharp, but I'm really wondering about the collection of tight ends, who I am excited about in a way. But now that you and I have been having this conversation here recently, it sort of made me, I guess, think that we could be in for quite a transition as far as that group's identity. And I don't know if it's all the way positive in that I guess you're expecting to be a little bit more dynamic possibly, but are you taking a step back From a physicality standpoint, I don't know. What do you make of that group?
You nailed it. Bullseye. Yeah. I think this is more of a pass catching, group in total. I don't think this is the nitty gritty, hand in the ground, grind it out group of tight ends like you've had. I think you've got have Jason Llewellyn, you've got Trey. Dadgummit. Yeah, he's from Dallas, redshirted last year. Trey Jackson. Thank you so much. Good gosh, hate when I do that. But yeah, he's younger. Was hurt in the spring. Yeah, God, he's really. Get that. So there's some numbers there, and you've obviously got John Carlos Miller and Terrence Carter, but these are more receiving threats than they are. Like Mason, he was more of a do it all, but hand in the ground, like toughness. All the stuff, right? I don't know if you have that in total this year. And maybe Terrence Carter at 6'2", 245, maybe he can do some of the Conyers things. Keep in mind, this is a different coordinator, different play caller, different scheme.
Different offensive line. Different offensive line. Offer that up. Could I maybe throw this at you? That some of what we saw, as far as utilization of tight ends previously, I think you've even said it, was to lend a hand to a struggling group of offensive linemen. So, or maybe we betting on that being improved enough to ease off of them having to lend a hand. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does. However, football is hard. And I just know, ultimately what we're saying is it's 3rd and 2. There's 1:41 to go. You're down 4. You're in Tempe, Arizona. It's the fourth quarter. You're down 4, 1:41. It's 3rd and 2 on your, 42-yard line. What are you doing at that point? Who gets it? What are you majoring in? What do you have in your back pocket?
First, today's episode brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all the money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it can be easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building wealth. You're going to love the all-in-one convenience. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money today. Use our code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com and our code LOCKEDONCOLLEGE for half off your first year.
What are we featuring there? And I don't know if I really know the answer. Whereas last year, I guarantee you that there was maybe 5 to 10% of the time that it didn't go to either Brooks or Conyers, but the other 90, it's a throw to, hand it. Let's line the quarterback up at receiver and let these two guys deal with it. Let's whatever. Those two guys were heavily featured in most every red zone, which is key, and short yardage situations last year, and they excelled, like crazy.
Well, and think about otherwise tough third down situations.
Yeah.
The name Kelly was probably involved as well. If we're talking about a pass catcher
on 3rd and longer, 3rd and 5 and 6 and longer. Yeah. He again, do you have that at receiver? I don't know if you do. We have the candidates. But do we know who's going to be real sure-handed? Do we know who's going to – we had 30-plus catches on 3rd down last year. So you had that, on lock. You had short yardage on lock for the most part, and you had a couple of different options there. You got creative with it. Okay, but again, as you look at this year, I need 2 yards, man. Like I have to have it, or it could cost us this game, which could theoretically cost us a spot in Arlington. Like, what are we doing? And maybe it's easy to say, well, Quentin Joyner will be really good. Well, will he? And maybe because the offensive line's better. That's kind of what you were saying a while ago. But like it's it's, like play out this scenario. It's 2nd and 2, 2nd and goal, handed up the middle, stuffed. Handed up the middle, going the different way, stuffed. 4th and 2, I got to score. I'm down 4. Like, do you have somebody that can get into the end zone? And is that, because Jacoby Williams and Joyner, these are speed guys. I'm not saying they're not tough or can't be imitated, but these are not smaller, but these are not the same size guy that Taj Brooks is at all.
No, I wanted to ask you about the running backs because I'm sitting here wondering if I had to name who is or who should be your most physical running back, if those aren't still two different answers right now. Let me tell you what I would give you. I'd give you Jacoby Williams is, Cameron Dickey should. But Quentin Joyner is an X factor to me because I hadn't seen him in a Tech uniform, obviously. So my apologies if I'm cutting him short.
Yeah, and I think that's fair. And we don't know what we don't know. Just we're posing questions and topics. Yeah. Now, I think you are really good when you suggest Jacoby Williams is, Cam Dickey should. I really like that because I want to offer up Cam Dickey as an option. We hear about the speed and all that. This really needs to be who this player is or can provide to you. He's 215, I think. He's built like a Mack truck, I think, with able to add more weight and all those things. This needs to be the natural, inherent answer or solution here. I don't know if we've seen enough to say he can do it. We got it. I know he'll provide it. Whatever. But that's really. You willing to put the season on the line with a guy like Adam Hill? I'm not. Like your fourth option at running back.
I'm thinking about Cam Dickey right now in a big spot in a big game with that on the line.
And that too.
Those are bright lights for that guy right now.
Yeah, that's right, no doubt. The other so as you kind of. Because, the way football is, man, it's not – this is a big, wide-open deal, and you're going to take some deep shots on that stuff and in between the 20s. But at some point –
First, today's episode brought to you by Gametime. Imagine watching your favorite team at the college basketball tournament live, feeling the energy of the crowd, witnessing unforgettable moments. We all know there's nothing like experiencing a big game in person, and getting tickets shouldn't be stressful. That's where Gametime comes in, making it easier than ever to grab last-minute seats at unbeatable prices. With Gametime Picks, curation makes it even easier to find better value for tickets to sports, concerts, comedy, theater, and more. And the one and only lowest price guarantee, which means you get the lowest price or Gametime will credit you 110% of the difference. Plus, peace of mind with seat views before you buy, no surprise fees, and the lowest price guarantee. You can book with total confidence. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use our code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. That's LOCKEDONCOLLEGE, Locked On College, for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last minute tickets at the lowest price. Guaranteed.
You get into Salt Lake City, you get into Tempe, you're going to get into Manhattan, and you're going to have to convert. And everybody's going to be bunched up and like, what are we? Maybe Terrence Carter is your Jalen Conyers a little bit. Maybe you get creative with him, and but I'll so and maybe there's somebody else we're not thinking of that could be like Wildcat or could do some of the tough things. But I'm even okay with, now hold on to your hat here, I'm okay with even getting gimmicky with it if they show that they can handle it. I can't sit here and say that you have a for sure answer there, like you did last year with two phenomenal options, maybe two of the best options for what the statement reads or the question is being asked of anybody in the Big 12. I don't know if anybody had a better short yardage back than you did or a more physical tight end that was great with the ball in his hands and all that stuff. But what if I would offer up like door number 3 and say, man, what if you get real creative and say, hey, Lee Hunter, hey, Skylar Gill Howard, Once you get real good around the goal line, let's go William Refrigerator Perry there. I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
I like the idea, but I think that says all we need to know about the state of the situation.
Well,
is that we're offering up DTs at the end of this sucker. But yeah, you're looking to fill big physical shoes, and that really.
I'm trying to get my money's worth out of them dudes, man. Right? And you know, just like Jalen Hutchings was like, I can tote the rock. I mean, so anyway, I don't know if you're on to anything like that. I'm fascinated by this particular conversation as a we need some answers here. Could Cam Dickey emerge in fall camp as like one of the most important players because of this very reason? Does Terrence Carter emerge as one of the most important players on your offense because of the ability to do a variety of different things? Is there somebody we're not talking about? Do you go outside the box and include somebody maybe on defense that I don't know, but I think the point still stands, and it's a fascinating question to ask, and one that I'm not sure we have the answer to.
No, definitely not. I think that's clear by this point, and it's got me just wondering if we're going to see in general a significant shift, what I would think would be to their detriment, towards a less physical offensive identity or personality. I think it's been easy, at least, I mean, I can say this for me as a fan, to take the physical aspect of Tech's offense for granted in the Taj Brooks era, somewhat bleeding over into the SaRodorick Thompson era as well. I mean, you've kind of had that in the bag for a while, and now that's out the door. So I don't know, Chris, you think we could really see something significant as far as a shift for the offense in that regard?
No, I mean, they'll be physical. And maybe the answer is, hey, man, Joyner is going to handle it. He'll be just fine. With the better offensive line, you're good to go. You guys are overthinking this. Barron's added some weight. He'll be fine on the times that you maybe need to run him. You guys are good. But
it's a late July podcast. We're here to overthink, all right? But the end of our thread.
It is that. But it is a very legitimate question. And one that I was like, damn, that's a really good point. And part of it is because the standard was so high in those categories last year.
Yeah.
I mean, these are two guys from last year that are going to the NFL. I mean, one of them was drafted. The other one's on an NFL roster right now. And, like, do you have the equivalent of that on your roster this year? I mean, we've sit here and talked about one of your portal transfers at tight end and a true sophomore running back, and then maybe some door number 3, door number 4 options. I mean, so I don't know. But, maybe there's something we're not thinking about, or maybe we're underestimating Barron or Will Hammond or Quentin Joyner. Or, I don't know. But until that's answered, I'll be tuned in and wanting to see kind of what is on the horizon there.
No question. And I think you make a great point when you just talk about the fact it will be tight at some point in time.
Yes.
It's going to be cold. It's going to be nasty. It's going to be Manhattan or Ames or wherever it might be. And you're going to be up against the wall. And we know this is just the cycle that repeats itself year after year after year. You're going to have to get some tough yardage. So who's going to be the guy you can turn to in those situations? We'll find out. Chris, enjoyed it as always, man. Appreciate your time and insight as always as well. And looking forward to the next one.
Enjoy the new week, people. We're almost there. So appreciate you tuning in, and short yardage solutions are on the way. I just know it. We'll worry about the red zone later, or maybe it's one and the same. But yeah, short yardage solutions are on the way. Yes.
It's a game of inches. That wasn't just a metaphor for Al Pacino's love life. It's real between the lines. All right. Thank you all so much for being out there. Get subscribed on YouTube or anywhere you get podcasts so you never miss an episode. Appreciate the everydayers for, of course, always riding along. And thanks to the Matador Mob as well for keeping the conversation going round the clock. Hit our show notes and find a link to a free 14-day trial if you're interested in joining that outlaw band. It is your direct line to Chris and myself with one-on-one text sent straight to your phone. For Chris, I'm Casey. Thanks as always for the time, and we hope to see you back for the next round on Locked On Texas Tech.